Hey everybody, 40 Sparky here. I've had some people private message me about how to specifically get a camera to work on a telescope. This is my Celestron. It's a 2000mm f8 telescope. It's basically a 2000mm lens. And in its normal configuration you would have an eyepiece in the back that you look at. This is a mirror lens. It's very much similar to the mirror camera lenses that we're all used to seeing. Same design and just on a very large scale. In this normal configuration, this is how I go out and look at the stars and the moon and things like this. This is a motorized telescope, often called a go-to. There's a small motor in the fork as well as in the base, so it will automatically track objects in the sky. You don't see it move because the rotation is so slow that you can't see it move, but you can hear the motors run once you get it aligned. And by aligned, I'm not talking about optically aligned. In alignment, I'm talking about getting the telescope to understand where it is on the face of the Earth and where it is pointing, so it knows what rotation of the Earth it needs to counteract. And it's all done with computers. You simply aim the telescope at a few points in the sky, align it, and if you did it good, then that's all you have to do, and it will automatically track a subject across the sky as the Earth rotates and the subject moves across the sky. But back to getting to how to adapt a camera. Most telescopes, you can change the eyepiece to a different eyepiece. However, you really can't attach a camera to that. Well, there's a very simple method to solve that, and that is, this is what's called a visual back. This is an adapter that is put on the back of the telescope body that simply allows it to use an eyepiece. Well, you can change that out to an adapter that will go to your camera. And you can see that they're basically the same from this end. It's just the other end is different. This is the eyepiece. This is actually two pieces. This is what is called a T-adapter, that it adapts the telescope to a standard T-mount for a camera, and then you simply get the adapter from a T-mount to the camera lens or the camera body system that you have, whether it's Nikon or Canon or what have you. And all you need to do is put this back on in place of the visual back that holds your eyepieces, and then you can simply mount your camera onto the telescope. And now you have basically in effect here a 2000mm lens. I would suggest if you do this, it's best to work with a lens or camera that can do live view. Most of them can anymore. Personally, I prefer to tether it with a laptop, because that way I'm not even touching the camera to make adjustments. I can change the shutter speed and the aperture and everything with the laptop, so I'm not moving the camera and the telescope, making adjustments which might put it out of alignment. So anyway, that's all there is. If nothing else, use a wired remote or a wireless remote to fire the camera. But if you do have to go hands-on with the camera to make an adjustment, let the vibration cease. Don't just make an adjustment and fire that shutter button. It's best to use a remote. Mirror up. If you're going to shoot the moon, you really don't need mirror up because you're using the Sunny 16 rule. You're probably going to be shooting at 250th of a second anyway, so mirror movement isn't going to affect the image quality. But if you're going to be using it for deep space photography like nebulas and planets, you would definitely want to go to a mirror up remote release, and like I say, preferably tethered. That's the method I use. So anyway, that's a simple way of how to adapt your camera to a telescope. Is all you need is a couple pieces of specialized, and I think I spent $40 on this piece right here, on these two pieces shipped to me. So it's not an expensive proposition if you already have a telescope. $40, and you can put your DSLR or even your film camera onto a telescope. So this is 480 Sparky. Go forth and actuate.